Right now at 7, some Carthage school kids are experiencing something scary as their bus was involved in an accident.
And we'll meet a Philadelphia native that's now living in the 4 states who tells us what it's like to be behind enemy lines. And we are going to take a look at your forecast. Some light snow for some of us out there, some flurries. We'll tell you when they're going to be out of here and what temperatures look like today coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Cale Chapman. A Joplin school went into lockdown Thursday morning as police searched for a theft suspect. Around 7 a.m., authorities in Webb City were chasing a stolen vehicle. That chase led into a Joplin intersection, the intersection of Zora and 249, where the suspect left the vehicle and ran. Authorities then received an alert of a suspicious person at College Heights Christian School. The school was put on lockdown and searched, but the suspect was not found. A scary moment for some school kids in Carthage. On Thursday morning, a Carthage School District bus transporting students was involved in an accident at Chapel and Fur Road. All students were given the opportunity to be evaluated on scene by medical personnel. A few students did seek additional medical assistance. Parents were notified and arrangements were made to get the students to school. A Sikeston, Missouri man learns his fate for a 2019 robbery. A Cherokee County court sentenced Joseph Ships to 7 years in prison. Ships was found guilty by a jury of robbery, attempting to elude law enforcement, and driving while suspended. Evidence showed Ships forced a man from his vehicle during a traffic stop back in December of 2019 and fled in it. When the vehicle entered Oklahoma, OHP performed a tactical vehicle intervention maneuver to stop Ships. Ships is being held in the Cherokee County Jail pending transfer to the Kansas Department of Corrections. Authorities in Texas and Oklahoma are trying to identify a Jane Doe in Texas they believe to be a missing girl from Oklahoma. 12-year-old Cheryl Taylor of Pitcher, Oklahoma was last seen on July 28, 1978. She was last seen standing on the sidewalk in front of a Pitcher grocery store between 7:15 and 7:30 p.m. According to Mark Wall, who is a part of the Ottawa and Delaware County Cold Case Unit, they got a break in the case. His investigation turned up a teenage Jane Doe in Texas, and they're trying to match DNA samples to identify her. Wall believes it is Cheryl, as both she and the Jane Doe have red hair. However, trying to confirm it is going to be tricky, as both Cheryl's mother and aunt cannot be found to give DNA samples. If you have any information on Cheryl Taylor's relatives, please call Mark Wall at 1-889-542-5547. A big announcement from Pittsburg State on Thursday afternoon, a $50 million project that will expand the university's footprint in the Block 22 neighborhood. The school says the keystone for the district will be a new building for the Kels College of Business at 5th and Broadway on the property currently leased by BMO Harris Bank. The project also includes a redevelopment of the historic Best Hotel, the tallest building in southeast Kansas. In addition, the university will partner with the Colonial Fox Theater to share space in a 2-story pavilion already planned by the theater to be built on the empty lot owned by the Fox.
While they're here at Pittsburg State University, either as undergraduates or graduate students, by connecting them to our community more deeply, to our region more deeply, to our businesses more deeply, we hope to do multiple things, and primarily that is helping those businesses and communities to grow even while those students are here.
Of the total $50 million cost, the Pittsburg State University Foundation already has $7 million in hand, contributed by donors for the Kels College of Business portion. The university this week learned it's also getting a $12.5 million grant from the Kansas Department of Commerce. Private-public partnerships will be sought to shore up the gap. Construction is slated to start in 2024, with classes beginning in 2026. Now, this may be Chiefs Kingdom, but there are still some Eagles fans in the 4 states. KOAM's Shagun Bomadelli spoke with a Philadelphia native who's been living behind enemy lines in Joplin.
Greg Ocho, a man born and raised in Philadelphia, is confident that his childhood team, the Eagles, will win the Super Bowl on Sunday.
I may live here now, but I'm from Philly. I've always rooted for my home team, whether it be the Eagles, the Phillies, the Flyers, anybody.
Greg says although he is in enemy territory, the people of Missouri has been kind to him.
There's very few Eagles fans around here. There's some more came out of the woodwork since they're in the Super Bowl, but not too many. I live in Missouri. I like the Chiefs. They have a good coach and they have a good team, but I have to go with my home team.
The military brought Greg to Missouri.
Right here, Uncle Sam brought me down here. I was in the military and moved to North Carolina, from North Carolina to Texas to Arkansas. And then I met this young lady right here, and she lives up here, so we moved up here.
Despite he is in enemy territory, Greg says he will continue to root for his home team.
I root for my home team. I am not one of those fly by the seat of your pants people who, wherever I live, I root for. I stick with my home team. I was born and raised in Philadelphia. I went to school in Philadelphia, so that's who I root for.
Reporting in Joplin, Shagun Bamdele, KOAM News.
Greg predicts the Eagles will win by a score of 24-14.
All right, as we take a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker, you can see still some light snow, a little bit of flurry activity out there across the area. Not really a lot of this doing much, but could lead to a couple of slick spots out there, so do be careful this morning. MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line. Roads in Joplin are clear, but we do have cloudy skies out there. We're at 35, feeling like 29. With a north breeze at 8. Temperatures across the region look like this, 27 rather, in Iola, 36 Miami, 35 Neosho and Carthage. As we go through our day, we'll see the light snow and flurries kick on out of here by about 10 o'clock. Then we'll be left with mostly cloudy skies and cold conditions. Highs pushing the upper 30s to about 41 in Joplin, holding on to those mostly cloudy skies. And the skies will begin to clear as we head into this evening. We start to see mostly clear skies by 10 down to 30 with an overnight low of 28.
And coming up, it's been one of the most talked about games, Hogwarts Legacy. Whether you're boycotting it or not, we're here to take a deep dive on the game.
And later, with Valentine's Day coming up, we're going to take a deep look into why people cheat with their money and why it causes issues in relationships. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
In Health Watch this morning, it's the second leading cause of death in the U.S., just behind heart disease. Every year, nearly 2 million new cases of cancer are diagnosed. Catching the disease early is key to survival, and getting genetic testing done can help you know your risks. Mandy Gaither gets answers to some of the most common questions about this type of testing.
Environment, lifestyle, and your family history. Some of the factors that can play into a cancer diagnosis, and knowing your risk of getting the disease could save your life.
We're able to recommend earlier or more frequent types of screenings to be able to catch these cancers earlier or maybe even prevent them.
Mayo Clinic genetic counselor Brianna Mitchell says this testing can determine risk for many types of cancers. While having a potential harmful gene doesn't guarantee you'll get the disease, she says testing can typically assign a risk range. The first step is to get an appointment with a genetic counselor.
That's where we go through your family history. We ask those details about those cancers, how old someone was when they had it, what types of cancers, and do our kind of evaluation and assessment to see if you meet criteria.
The counselor will not only look at personal and family cancer history, but ancestry or the presence of abnormal cells. If you qualify, the test is done with either a blood test drawn locally or through a saliva kit at home. Even if you don't meet criteria, you can still get tested.
Most patients, regardless of whether their insurance covers their testing or not, are typically able to pay less than $500 for this kind of testing.
Mitchell says on average, results from genetic testing come back about 2 to 3 weeks after the sample is submitted.
We've got ourselves some clear roads out there despite a few flurries and light snow. We're going to take a complete look at your forecast when we come back. Well, after drawing national attention and some public outrage for canceling a high school musical, a school board in Ohio is now letting students perform the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. The board originally said it was concerned about vulgarity. They ended up working with the show's original writer to make changes so the show will go on. Catherine Ross reports from Middlefield, Ohio.
rounds of applause, and feelings of relief at the Cardinal School Board meeting Wednesday.
I would like to thank the board for making the right decision. I have to admit I had so very little faith that you would that I did not prepare an alternate speech, so I'm coming off the cuff here.
It comes after several weeks of drama surrounding the high school play.
But it was irrational, it was hasty, it was done poorly.
Wednesday, the school board members walked back a decision to cancel the spring production over what they deemed to be vulgarity.
Production will resume immediately. Cardinal High School Theater's public performance of the approved revised version of the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee.
The board says it reversed its decision after working with the publisher to make nearly 24 revisions to the script.
It was mostly about language and a song that the board didn't agree with.
Students and parents say they're relieved, but some are frustrated about how the process played out.
I don't know if they're doing it to appease the public or if they really believe it. So it's still shaky.
The situation has garnered attention from across the country. In fact, before tonight's school board meeting, the theater students met virtually with the original Spelling Bee cast. They offered support and advice for how to move forward.
The most advice that they gave us was stand for what you believe in.
One of the play's original Broadway cast members, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, also took to social media last week. Concerned the cancellation was because of a same-sex couple portrayed in the play.
I'm heartbroken for you.
It's a claim the district denies.
I know it might have been a concern that the board might have gotten early from communication, but the board's issue and stance on that was never a discussion.
The show is scheduled for the weekend of March 10th. The cast and crew lost several weeks of production and rehearsal time, but some say the entire process was a valuable learning experience.
I think this is going to equip them in the future. When they see something that they feel is an injustice, they're going to be more likely then to have the tools to go ahead and talk to the people involved and try to make change in their communities.
All right, well, we've been tracking some light snow, some flurries across the region. The good news is none of this really adding up to much, but could cause some slick spots in some areas, so be careful out there. MoDOT camera, 32nd and Range Line. The roads in Joplin are clear. Any flurry activity we saw this morning didn't stick to anything. 35 is what it is, 29 is what it feels like, and the wind is out of the north at 8 miles an hour under what is clearly cloudy skies. Off to the northwest, still a little colder, 27 Iola, 28 in the 8th Center, 34 Chetopa, 36 in Miami, 35 Neosho Carthage, and 34 in Lamar. As we start our day, that light snow, those flurries should be out of here by 10 o'clock this morning. And then we'll start to see plain old mostly cloudy skies. And as we go through the afternoon hours, same situation, mostly cloudy skies. A little bit colder today than yesterday. Highs pushing right around 41 degrees. And as we head into this evening, clouds will begin to clear. Be mostly clear, if not completely clear by 10, 30 degrees with an overnight low of 28. Let's go right to the right button here to the 7-day forecast. So we do start to warm up though. We're up to 47 tomorrow, 53 Sunday, a bit on the breezy side. We got some showers coming in late Monday evening. That'll translate into just plain old rain most of the day Tuesday. And we're talking about, planning your Valentine's Day stuff indoors. Maybe even a rumble of thunder or two, but we're still mild in the mid-50s. We're up to 61 on Wednesday, and then temperatures will begin to fall. And as they do, we see chance of a wintry mix from Wednesday night into Thursday morning that we're keeping an eye on. And we only make it back up to 38 on Thursday, so enjoy this mild weather while we've got it. More of the KOAM Morning News is coming right up. Well, if you've ever dreamed of an owl bringing you an invitation to attend a school of witchcraft and wizardry,
now is your chance as Rick Damangella introduces us to a new game set in the wizarding world.
Take this. Find them.
Put down your butterbeer and ready your wands because Wizarding School is in session in Hogwarts Legacy.
Can't believe I'm here.
It's an open world game set in the 1800s where you're playing as a latecomer student. You're actually a fifth-year student arriving at the school, and the reason why you're arriving late is a little bit of a mystery.
In light of your unique situation, joining us as a fifth year, we've devised something extraordinary to ensure your success.
Really what we want to do is create like a space for all of our players to tell their own story as a hero, but it's finally that chance. I think so many fans have have read the books and wondered what it would be like if they were in the shoes of the protagonist.
Professor Weasley has asked that your professors give you instruction outside of the ordinary curriculum.
The game is set more than a century before Harry Potter attended Hogwarts, for good reason.
One of the big drivers for us setting it in that time period was just making sure that you were the focus. So you're not being overshadowed by characters that you already know. We're really trying to set the stage for you are the hero, and the things that you do have never been seen before. They're not being overshadowed by other characters.
The path we're on is terribly dangerous, but I do not know where it leads.
Leveling Up in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Well, Hogwarts Legacy broke a record earlier this week, according to a spokesperson for Twitch, when it became the most streamed single-player game on the streaming service with 1.28 million concurrent viewers.
Hogwarts Legacy is out today for Windows, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S gaming consoles.
You know, I kind of remember a time when it was just, you know, you had your Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, and the Sega.
Mm-hmm.
That was all you had.
Yeah, well, there's
and
a
the
wide
Game Boy.
variety now.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, you watch that trailer, and it's like you are really there.
Yeah,
I was telling you, I played games where you're a little square going after a weird-looking dragon in rooms with only 4 colors.
Yeah, I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, there's like some of those consoles and stuff they listed I haven't even seen in real life. They're magical. They're out there somewhere.
They're just wild.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
They're pretty nuts.
You young kids. We've got more of you young kids when the KOAM Morning News returns.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:26. A pet food factory in Miami, Oklahoma will soon have a new owner. Nestle Purina Healthcare announced plans to buy Red Collar Pet Foods in Miami. Purina has worked with the Red Collar team since 2022 to co-manufacture several pet treats under its Purina and Zooks brands. Red Collar says the sale underscores the quality of the Miami operations and team. The Miami factory will be the 22nd Purina-owned and operated facility nationwide. Purina is also voluntarily recalling some of its prescription dog food because of potentially elevated levels of vitamin D. The recall includes the ProPlan Veterinary Diets EL Elemental Prescription Dry Dog Food. Purina received 2 reports of dogs with signs of vitamin D toxicity after eating the food. Once they stopped, the dogs recovered. While vitamin D is an essential nutrient for dogs, if they ingest too much, it can cause vomiting, loss of appetite, increased thirst, increased urination, and kidney dysfunction. Ottawa County employers hosted a job fair on Thursday. Organizers say a recent meeting stressed the need to connect people looking for jobs with local employers. Businesses from a variety of industries were there and were ready to hire.
We've got a pretty good mix of employees. We have people here that are looking for different forms of nurses. We have people that are looking to fill production type jobs, forklift operators, things of that nature, lead operators. We have casinos that are represented here today. We also have retail outlets that are here. So we've got a little bit of everything.
There were also hiring incentives and drawings for prizes at the fair. McDonald County Food Service students are gearing up for an upcoming banquet. On Thursday, they served Disney-themed sample meal ideas to the local school librarians, who chose which ones would be served at the banquet. The event is a Gateway Readers Award luncheon and will feature a popular guest author. It's usually catered by outside companies, but this year the librarians wanted to give food service students a chance to get some experience.
It feels like an amazing opportunity to be on. Yeah, I thought like if I'm going to be cooking, I'm just going to keep cooking for myself, my teacher, and my classmates, things like that. But cooking for other people, for them to try my dish, I honestly want to know their own ratings on it. So if there's anything like they want me to correct on it or anything they need me to add to it or take it away, I'm always be able to. It'll be a great pleasure to listen to other people.
The luncheon banquet will be in March. A Joplin-based company hits the big time with a gig at this year's Super Bowl. Stokes Robotics, based in Joplin, will be featured in this year's Super Bowl as part of a TikTok tailgate party. The robots will join Jason Derulo as he performs his new song Saturday, Sunday. Stokes Robotics will travel to Glendale, Arizona today to prepare for on-site rehearsals. Stokes Robotics provides robotic solutions for customers in multiple industries such as law enforcement, agriculture, and manufacturing. Super Bowl excitement builds for students at one area school. Students in McDonald County, Missouri are ready for Sunday as they show off their Chiefs spirit. Yesterday was Touchdown Thursday in the district. Students were encouraged to wear their favorite Chiefs shirt.
Excited. I enjoy sharing my enthusiasm about the Chiefs with all the kids and letting them show their school spirit and supporting them too.
Today, McDonald County students will celebrate Fired Up Friday. Kansas City Chiefs fans are everywhere in the 4 states, but we can't forget about the Philadelphia Eagles fans. In a sea of red, one Joplin teacher is cheering for a different team. Tim Gubera grew up in Joplin and is, yes, you guessed it, a Philadelphia Eagles fan. He knows he is in Chiefs territory and shows his team spirit in secret. As Super Bowl weekend approaches, bickering between Chiefs and Eagles fans is common on social media. KOAM's Amber Jenkins spoke to a local church about how good sportsmanship can impact the game.
Fans having passion for their favorite sports team or player drives the team morale. However, having bad sportsmanship can bring your team down when they need you the most.
I think it's respecting the opponents, respecting the work that they put in. And, that's a huge piece. Obviously, everyone has their own opinion and they're right. They have that right.
Sport referees are usually the punching bag for fans, especially during big games. But before you blame another championship game over a ref call, being a referee can change your view of sportsmanship.
Probably one of the best things I ever did as a coach was become an official early in my coaching career for another sport to kind of get a feel for what that's like. It's very tough. It's extremely difficult, and I can tell you every time that I went out, I just wanted to do a good job, do a fair job.
Coach Shorter knows good sportsmanship can turn the tides of a game. That's why Coach makes sure to let his players get another perspective of the game.
And I've had a lot of my kids actually officiate some youth games and things like that, just so they can get a feel of what it's like on that side. I think it gives them a different perspective and an important perspective that we all need at times.
Whether you're a fan or a player, being a good sport is one of the best ways you can rep your team well.
Our kids love the program and they want to be a part of it. They want to be a part of something positive.
Reporting in Carl Junction, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Remember, having a passion for sports does not give you a free ticket to be a bad sport. And this morning we are discussing team mascots. This is definitely not your typical garage. With KC Wolf's hundreds of appearances a year, you'll see this garage in a second. It's easier if Dan Mears brings home some of his work. And this is just a sample of what's stored at Arrowhead. He'll take at least 2 wolves with him from wolf head down to wolf shoes. The man behind KC Wolf for 33 years now earned a Lifetime Achievement Award at an NFL Mascot Summit. Now that award is named after him, and after a scary fall left him injured in 2013, he wrote a book called Wolves Can't Fly, donating the proceeds to charities helping kids here and around the world. He travels all over to speak, and he wrote another book called Mascot on a Mission. Which brings us to our question, what's your favorite professional 4-state sports mascot? Right now, it looks like KC Wolf is still in the lead with 66%. Blue the Dog at 4%, Rumble the Bison at 4%, Fred Bird at 13%, Louie at 8%, and Sledge at 4%. So get out there and vote. You still have some time to show us your opinion. And we're headed to break, but when we come back, we've got Shannon Becker back live in the studio with his big 3 stories of the week. Welcome back. It's time to close out the week with our own Shannon Becker and his big 3 stories. Welcome back, Shannon.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good to see you. Of course, you'll see him all weekend, too.
I will. I'll be here all weekend, ready to roll here for the Super Bowl.
All right. Live breaking news. What happened this week? Let's take a look at the big 3. Number 3, this was yesterday. Now, 2 events that a lot of people thought were related, but we found are not related. Webb City Police pursued a stolen vehicle to 249 and Zora. A man fled on foot. They discontinued that search for that man. And then about an hour later, College Heights Christian School went on lockdown. They had a premise alert. Joplin police said they searched the building twice. No one was ever located. So 2 separate incidents, not related, but it was kind of, a lot of parents were upset yesterday, didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
So, number 2 story, Joplin News First, live and breaking news. This was 3rd and Geneva, an intersection, just 4-way stop there right by North Park Mall at JCPenney's. Someone ran a stop sign and clobbered that car, a Jeep Cherokee, into the side of that passenger car. And what they call that intrusion when it goes into the vehicle like that.
Gotcha.
3 people injured in that car, but no life-threatening injuries.
Well,
that was
that's
on
good.
Friday night. Also on Friday night, I left that. It was a busy night and went straight to GameCo, our #1 story of the week. We've got footage of the inside of GameCo as a minivan drove into the building.
Wow.
Yeah, and barely missed 2 people that were shopping. It's an amazing video. GameCo remains closed temporarily until they can get things fixed. I talked to the owner the other day and they said they still don't have a date yet. That's a lot of merchandise there damaged, let alone a huge hole in the wall.
Yeah, and the van came in backwards. That's just something else.
It was just an accident. Someone hit the wrong, hit the reverse instead of forward. Also, they had a former location across from the North Park Mall where someone actually drove in there. We were there that day too. So,
really?
Yeah, no one was hurt that day.
Well,
but
good.
GameCo, maybe they need to put those big, pylons out front.
They might need some of those pylons out there.
Park some armored cars sideways in front of the building.
Weird that it's happened twice.
No. Our bonus story of the week, you've been talking about it. How about robots? Yeah, coming up this Sunday, the pregame show. It's the Carl Junction Company, Stokes Robotics, and they'll be performing with Jason Derulo. Jason Derulo. You know who that is, right?
Of course, yeah.
You're a young,
big
savvy,
famous celebrity.
Young, savvy, cool guy. You can sing some of that.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Rehearsals are going on, and it'll be, I think, it's going to be, 1 o'clock Eastern, so that's noon our time.
Gotcha.
And I think you can watch it on TikTok, or you can watch it on Fox as well. Of course, we'll be running that on Fox 14. Here in the area. And then a bonus, how about this? Okay, so I don't know if you knew that I'm on the KOAM Presents podcast.
Okay.
I'm not bragging or anything, but they're calling it Shannon, what is it? Unfiltered is what they call it.
Shannon Unfiltered, okay,
Yes.
okay.
So Amanda Salgado and I were doing, she's interviewed me and stuff, so it's a new series you can download wherever you find podcasts. And I haven't listened yet. I'm afraid to listen.
What?
I really am.
You gotta try it out. You just
I know.
See how it all goes.
So we'll play it on our Facebook page though, coming up. So
Gotcha.
people can enjoy it if they don't do podcasts or something like that.
Sounds like a plan.
That's your big 3 this week.
All right. Well, thank you, Shannon. I'll have to check out that Unfiltered podcast.
All right. Yeah. Good luck. You'll
it'll
be
be
too busy
good.
dancing to Jason Derulo.
Well, I'll find some time. It'll be easy. All righty. Well, we'll be right back after this. In Consumer Watch this morning, Google's new artificial intelligent chatbot tool makes a mistake and it ends up costing the company billions of dollars. In a demo posted on Twitter Wednesday, a user asked the bot, Bard, what new discoveries from the James Webb Space Telescope can I tell my 9-year-old about? Bard responded with several bullet points, including one that said it took the first pictures of a planet outside of Earth's solar system. However, the first picture of an exoplanet was actually taken in 2004 by the European Southern Observatory's Very Large Telescope. Shares in Google's parent company Alphabet dropped 7.7% Wednesday after Reuters first reported the inaccurate answer, which wiped $100 billion off its market value. Bard is not yet available to the public. The Labor Department says claims for state unemployment benefits rose higher than expected to 196,000 last week. This comes as more major companies, including Zoom and Disney, announced layoffs earlier this week. Economists say all the high-profile layoffs recently are because big companies overhired during the pandemic. Still, though, the U.S. job market remains tight. The cost of Valentine's Day is just around the corner, but while many people are celebrating love and romance, many couples are contending with infidelity, but not in the way that you might think. Some consumer experts warn Americans are keeping financial secrets from their spouse or partner. Ivan Rodriguez takes a look at why people cheat with their money and how this can cause big problems in your relationship.
While it may not be the basis for a scandalous soap opera storyline, financial infidelity can be the source of some serious relationship drama.
Money is a really emotional, important topic.
Bankrate senior industry analyst Ted Rossman says secret spending along with hidden debt or accounts can be a real cause for concern in a relationship.
It's hard enough to meet your financial goals if you're pulling in the same direction. It's that much harder if somebody is squirreling money away or keeping secret debt or secret accounts.
And all that hiding can have lasting consequences.
I think the longer the secret festers, the worse the breach of trust is going to feel if it does come out, and it probably will at some point.
Talking about money for many Americans feels taboo.
People want privacy. They don't want somebody else looking over their shoulder. They're embarrassed about the way they handle money.
But the key to a healthy relationship and healthy finances, Rossman says, is honesty and communication.
It's important to schedule some time, whether it's formal or informal, just to check in with your spouse on money. Everything from the routine bills that need to be paid to the big picture stuff.
He advises starting small and taking a positive approach while coming up with mutual financial goals and achieving your dreams. I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
Meanwhile, there are more job cuts coming in the tech industry. Thursday, Yahoo announced it will lay off 20% of its workforce, including 1,000 employees this week. The company says it is restructuring with cuts focused on its Yahoo for Business ad division, which is expected to be slashed in half. Super Bowl Sunday is second only to Thanksgiving when it comes to the amount of food Americans eat. Thanks to inflation, many of those dishes are more expensive this year. But Christian Benavidez found out some favorites have actually gone down in price.
Cheers. The game plan for Jay Bauer and Eric Haas this Sunday is to enjoy plenty of food.
I do love wings, pizza, just all the bad stuff you can feel crappy about it the next day.
When it comes to Super Bowl, number one, you have to have a lot of dip and a lot of wings. That's crucial.
And wings are a fan favorite at the American Social Sports Bar in Miami. What's this place going to look like on Super Bowl Sunday? Is it going to be packed?
Oh, it's going to be packed shoulder to shoulder. Walking is going to be a little bit difficult getting around.
The National Chicken Council projects Americans will consume almost 1.5 billion wings this weekend. That's enough to circle the circumference of the Earth 3 times. People buying their wings at the grocery store should find prices about 17% lower than last year.
The reason we're seeing chicken wing prices down, we're seeing more supply out there.
Courtney Smith from Wells Fargo says guacamole fans also have something to cheer about. Avocados have dropped 27% in price. But the celebration ends there because items from the snack aisle cost 11% more. And beer is up 8.6% over last year. Schmidt says shoppers can still find deals with a little research.
Different stores will have different foods that they're promoting. Get online, do a little bit of homework before you go out, see where you can really save money.
What's the marinade on that?
Bauer plans to lay out a big spread at his Super Bowl party.
We'll always have more than we need, right? You never send people away hungry.
One thing that will stay undefeated this Sunday is America's love of food. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
A report released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics last month showed overall grocery store prices are up nearly 12%, and eating out costs 8.3% more. We'll be right back after this, but first let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. More life-saving training for Minnesota National Guard troops meant a trip to the top of a mountain in Norway. An approaching winter storm has them moving quickly to their next camp, where they will take on the challenge of self-rescue when falling into open water. Reg Chapman and photojournalist Tom Aviles were there to see it all happen.
Another night in the field leads to another day of training for Minnesota National Guard troops. This day holds lots of unknowns. Can they hold their own against an approaching storm? And how will it impact their 3-mile hike up the mountain on skis?
I'm thinking about bracing my core, stretching my shoulders, breathing.
Their load is a lot heavier this time. Equipment plus pine and birch tree parts to help start a fire and to use for bedding. Staying warm and dry are priorities.
Like right now, I got the least amount of layers on. I'm a little chilly now, but I know I'm going to be sweating pretty quickly, especially since we're pretty much going straight up for the first probably half mile.
This is serious business. Many of these troops are not expert skiers. The Norwegian Home Guard is on hand to make sure they are ready for this challenge.
Forward march.
The command is given and they head up the mountain. The scenery, breathtaking. Many troops seize the moment and take it all in.
You get used to it. It breaks out a nice sweat in you. You good up there?
Others, especially those who are pulling a load behind them, are having a rough go at it. Up and then down, but never down for too long.
It's getting better. Let's put it that way. It's getting better.
They share a laugh but help each other out. As a team, they know they can overcome anything.
What is it like dragging that thing?
It's awesome. Best day of my life.
Part 1 of this day complete, they reach the top only to face the next challenge. Cold water survival training.
One of the reasons we do this, it's a life-saving skills if we go through the water, and also it's a part of the hygiene to get cleaned up.
Minnesota troops have been out in the field for 3 days.
Kick your feet. Kick your feet.
We don't have showers, then we have 3 choices actually. We have wet wipes, we have snow bath, and we have polar plunge.
Find the base of the pole.
Cleanliness is important.
Get up!
But not as important as saving yourself if you fall into cold, open water.
First you have to get to the edge, then you get the bottom of the poles, and you just get those into the ice. And you kick off with your feet.
Ah, yes. Drop the poles. First time?
Yep.
For Kelby Olsen, the challenge puts her one step closer to her roots.
We actually had family that moved to America from Sigdal, Norway. I am so lucky that I have this experience and to be with everybody back home from Minnesota. Like, it's just great.
What does your name mean in Norwegian?
It means little chair, actually.
So how do you know that?
Oh, my grandpa told me. He spoke Norwegian.
For Nate Littlestall, this trip is a dream come true, coming to the land his grandfather told him stories about.
Just knowing the heritage that comes from here, my family's from here, so it means a lot, getting to come here, so it's pretty cool.
Amazing! They're cold!
From escaping the cold water to the warming tent and a change of clothes, no time to rest for these troops. They have to build ice walls to protect their camp for the night. The battle against the approaching storm begins.
We'll be right back with more after this. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Here's what's happening today. Sources tell CBS News former Vice President Mike Pence has been subpoenaed by the special counsel overseeing the investigations into former President Trump. The offices for both Pence and special counsel Jack Smith declined to comment. Trump is being investigated for his handling of classified documents as well as attempting to overturn the 2020 election. The subpoena comes after months of negotiations between Pence's lawyers and federal prosecutors. More than 20,000 people have died following the earthquake that hit Syria and Turkey, and that number is expected to keep rising. Unseasonably cold weather with temperatures dropping 15 degrees lower than normal has made rescue efforts even more urgent. The World Health Organization is warning more devastation is ahead as there's not enough food, water, and life-saving aid making it to the enormous amount of people in need. Alec Baldwin is facing a lawsuit for the accidental shooting death on the set of his movie Rust. In 2021, cinematographer Helena Hutchins was killed when the gun Baldwin was holding went off during a rehearsal. Her Ukrainian family alleges negligence and is seeking compensatory and punitive damages from Baldwin and others associated with the production. The actor also facing 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter. Baldwin claims he did not fire the weapon. On Friday, make sure to stand under your umbrella. Hey, there you go. It's National Umbrella Day. This trusty tool has been keeping people dry since early civilizations. The ancient Greeks and Romans used the umbrella to take cover from the rain and the sun. Some of the earliest umbrella shops opened in London in the 1800s. On the modern big screen, umbrellas are a big feature in movies like Singin' in the Rain and Mary Poppins. And of course, we can't forget Rihanna's catchy tune, Umbrella, which you just may be able to catch her singing during Sunday's Super Bowl halftime show. The best way to celebrate National Umbrella Day: take a stroll with your umbrella, whether it's raining or not. Thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We'll be back with more news and weather at noon. Have a great morning and an even better day.